Alright, everybody. Are we ready? Hello.
Hello. Hello. Hello.
Alright.
Everybody's here?
Hello. Can y'all hear me good?
Yes, we can.
Yep.
Good.
Alrighty. So let's start from the top, work our way down to the bottom. Let's go ahead and introduce us and do our shameless plugs right now.
I'm Mike, and I'm a college student studying acting.
Okay.
I'm Dustin. I'm just some random hanger-on. I really don't have that much to say about myself. I do a
Alright.
podcast with a couple of friends of mine. I'll plug that later if you want me to.
There you go.
Okay. And our third contemporary... Can't talk.
I am Rabbi, of course. I am Coldguy's co-host on Spinebreakers, and I host High Fiction, which is my little book review show.
Indeed. So, gentlemen, before we really get to nitty-gritty, what are your thoughts on the book title called Bone?
Unfortunate. Unfortunate title, but great book.
Sweeping epic in graphic novel form.
I liked it.
Alright. Very good. So let's start with the most common question of this book. Virtually everyone I talk to, when they go ahead and discuss this book, compares it with the Lord of the Rings trilogy, and there's a good reason why. In regard to the trials and what they are trying to do to go ahead and thwart evil. Now, in your guys' opinion, should we consider this more along the lines of a fantasy clone of the Lord of the Rings, in the story arc of finding oneself, going on a journey, completing said journey, or is this should we just consider this a fantasy book within itself?
Oh, I mean, every fantasy book cribs something from Lord of the Rings. I mean, that pretty much, at least high fantasy, which seems to be what this book was going for.
Yeah, I mean, really, when someone says, oh, it's like Lord of the Rings, I think that's really just it's a compliment. It's uncreative, but it's a compliment because Lord of the Rings is about as good as fantasy gets to most people. And that's one of the things I liked about this book. It didn't start out as this sweeping epic. It started out as this, funny pages comic book with these weird characters and a lot of slapstick, and it evolved into this grand, epic thing.
Going off that point, what were your thoughts on it starting off as more of a joke, and then getting serious? Do you think that actually hindered the book in itself because it just took a while for it to actually get to the point of what they're actually trying to do? Or do you think it allowed you to endear to the characters of the story, kind of made it better to identify with them?
I think it kind of hooked you in. It got you hooked with the comedy, and then started added in step by step the epic drama, but never actually took away the comedy. So you got this nice little mix of dramedy, if you will, to cop another word.
A dramedy, alright.
Yeah, and this is one of the few books, graphic novel or otherwise, where I laughed out loud several times.
Smiley Bone it's just moment after moment of hilarity.
I would have to say he was probably my favorite character in that entire book. What are you making? A nothing sandwich. What's on it? 2 pieces of bread and nothing in the middle.
With no crust. Don't forget the no crust.
And what was his favorite thing to eat? The hard, stale, stuffed crust little bread thingies that Grandma Ben would make.
Ah, yes. Classic stuff.
I think my favorite character was Phony Bone, though, just because from beginning to end, I mean, he had his moments of emotional depth or emotional growth, but pretty much till the end, he was kind of an a-hole. And I just appreciate a character like that who is so committed to being a jerkwad.
Kind of an asshole? I don't think kind
he was
of...
an asshole with a heart, you know?
Jerkwad with the heart of gold.
I mean, he stuck out for his cousins no matter what. I mean, pretty much everything he pretty much did from the beginning to the end was motivated some way or some form by, keeping his cousins, well off.
That's true.
So, question: while reading this book for first or second time, depending on where you're coming from, did you get the hunger to eat quiche at all?
Yes. Absolutely. And I actually have a recipe for a spinach quiche now. I've kept stored away, and now I'm probably going to cook sometime soon.
Actually, and I think those stupid rat creatures were probably the best minor characters ever. Because whenever they showed up, you're like, oh yeah, this is going to be entertaining.
Wasn't there a prequel book that involved the stupid rat creatures?
I don't know about a book involving them. I know there is a prequel book that was done like storybook style. I think it was even written by someone else and Jeff Smith illustrated. That was about an ancestor of the Bones who had visited the valley something like hundreds of years before and was actually the monster that all the rat creatures are afraid of. I haven't read that though.
Oh yeah, and someone in the chat mentioned the one that there was also a prequel that that went into the backstory right before Grandma Ben and Thorn came to the valley.
Yeah, I haven't read that either. I want to though.
Yeah, I'll get around to that too.
And supposedly there's going to be some sequel novels coming out pretty soon.
I did not know that.
I just hope that they're completed faster than it took him to do Bone, because I don't know how many of you guys know, he self-published this most of the time, and it took 14 years.
Well, considering it's 9 volumes, that's not an incredibly bad rate. Let's see, the book clocks in at about, let's see here, pulling the book out right now. Well, about 1,300 pages. So, it's blunt instrument level heavy,
The perfect book to get rid of intruders in your home.
Oh, someone brought it up in the chat. Bone Legacy.
Wow, that sounds like a bad title of a movie or something.
Isn't there a Bone movie coming out?
Well,
I hope not. I really don't want to see.
I know there are a couple of Bone games that Telltale Games did, but they stopped after the second after adapting the Great Cow Race.
Yeah, the Bone movie's been in development hell for a long time. Actually, Nickelodeon had the option at one point. They wanted it to be CGI. They wanted pop songs from the likes of NSYNC and Britney Spears, and they wanted child actors for the Bones.
No.
Yeah, exactly. That would have been more than horrible. That would have been unbearable.
What's that word? what's that word the Nostalgia Critic made up for such occasions?
Orbifuckus?
Yeah, that's the word.
Yeah, it would have been that.
The one interesting theme that they had in this entire book was the star. And I know a couple of people don't want me to spoil it for them, apparently.
Oh, man.
But
that was...
Spoilers ahead. Spoilers ahead.
Yeah, we're going to eventually get to spoiled territory, people.
Oh, we're going to spoil the hell out of this, I'm telling you.
And I'll kick it off with the star representation that they had. The entire book, you're alluded to the fact that the hero was the one with the star, and then at the very end you realize what the star meant. When you saw that twist there, did you just bust out laughing like I did?
Oh, yeah.
Now, see, I loved it. Yeah, I was laughing hysterically that he brought it. He carried that through like half the story, or like 1/3 of the story, and then he made a joke, and I loved it. And there were some people who read the book, who saw that twist, and were like, "That's so stupid." I'm like, "What did you like about it? It should have been important." And I'm like, "No, but that's why it's so awesome, because he totally just screwed you over."
It's a complete brick joke. You know, they mention this. I'm going to try to keep it as spoilerless as I can. They mention this one thing at the beginning of the book, and you just forget about it. And then at this point, it comes up again, and it all suddenly kind of comes together. And it's hilarious. I love that kind of writing. I love the properly done book joke, you know?
That is definitely true. Now, is it me, or do you just want the grandmother, I believe her name was Rose, to be in something else? Because that was another great character of the story that I really enjoyed.
I would not want to get on her bad side, ever, for any reason.
Neither do I.
I think it would be a very short time on that side, and coming out of it would be very, very, very painful.
I like that the story, I mean, they don't get specific about time or place, you know, the whole thing's vaguely medieval, but I like the fact that Rose and Thorn, for being female characters, were respected, and that Jeff Smith, especially after I just watched Linkara's newest, Jeff Smith never once sexualized Thorn in any way or made her eye candy. She was the character that was respected. I thought that was great.
Yes, avoided the fan service. No Athena's butt rules.
I was wondering when you. Yeah, that's something that Millie Carr has mentioned, that the comic industry seems to be a bit obsessed with the T and A lately. Well, actually, that seems to be a society thing, really, if you get down to it. But, well, okay, it's been in comics for quite some time, but it's coming to a head now. Pun not intended.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
So I'm just curious with you guys, of all the trials and tribulations that the Bones went through, either together or separate, which one do you think encapsulates this book's action portions the best?
Oh, jeez. There's so many great action sequences in the book. I gotta give it a tie, because, there are two sequences I love way too much to choose between the two. The Great Cow Race, when
Oh, yeah.
Cow races.
the cow suit gets, ruins it by having all the cows run into the rat creatures, a whole battalion. That was awesome. And probably when Phonebone, Smiley, the animals, and the stupid rat creatures were trying to scale down the mountain with Rockjaw and King Doc on their heels.
That was Uruk-Jah.
Yeah.
Rookjaw.
That's all they are. Rookjaw. But that, it was really one of those moments where you weren't sure that everyone was going to come out of it okay. And that's hard to do, because if a author knows that character is popular, or if they put enough investment in the character, it's hard to kill the character off, and or it's hard to even make it seem like the character could be in danger and not have everyone get really pissed and stop reading. And that was handled really well. I felt like someone was gonna die. So.
Yeah, I had a bet that those small woodland creatures, at least half of them, were going to get it. But luckily enough, not as many as I thought did.
Not that many people died. Well, named characters.
Of course, main characters.
Well,
named.
What about Lucius, though?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a bit. I think that was a bit too spoiler.
Nah. If you haven't read the book, I gave you yeah, it's going to be 2 weeks, and then we're not spoiling it that bad for you. It's still a good read.
Oh yeah, it's even if we spoil the details, it's still. But some things just need to be kept on the DL, so to speak.
Yeah. The one thing that some people argue over is the reason why Rose never told Thorne about her abilities, nor actually properly trained her, and just kept her away from all the abilities that she had. Even though in the end it would have helped them a lot if she actually did that. The explanation that she had was okay, but what are your guys' opinions on that in particular? Was it her attempt to just keep her sheltered and have her away from the limelight in regard to fate, or is it trying to defy fate and say, you know what, I'm going to go as far away as possible, and we're just not going to even deal with you?
I think she just wanted to give her life, a chance just to be a girl on a farm, not have to worry about, fate of the world, that sort of thing. Someone brought up an interesting comment. She's the one girl to rule them all.
Well, on the one hand, it was just Rose had to keep something from Thorne, or there wouldn't be a lot of conflict later on, would there? But in terms of the story, everybody has those secrets they keep, and that didn't bother me. It just, to me, it seemed like human nature. It seemed like it would make sense that Grandma Ben would not tell Thorne these things because maybe she thought it would protect her, or maybe she thought Thorne wasn't mature enough to handle it yet.
Or maybe she thought that Thorne didn't want it at all, and just, that she just wanted to be a regular girl on a farm. That sort of... Oh, God, I'm repeating myself, but the point gets across.
Mm. Now, there was the... I'm just curious on your guys' thought of who actually won the bet between... I'm blanking out now. Darn it. Between the Bone and the barkeeper.
Oh, between Phony and Lucius?
That's it.
Well, obviously, Phony won the bet.
Ultimately, yeah.
But, I mean, he did it by lying and cheating, but that's how they drinks.
That is true. I'm just curious about the dynamic between the rats and the dragons in this book in itself. At first, it's okay, they're mortal enemies, why? And then it kind of tried to tighten itself towards the end of the book. But in the end, besides the whole evil point of things, we obviously see that the rats are humble creatures at first that just grow into the lifestyle that they're accustomed to. See the 3 rat creatures that we mainly focus in on the book, including Bartleby. So, do we consider the rats to be evil, or just like an evil offshoot because of the way that they were aligned?
I didn't really ever think of them as evil per se. I just thought that they were just misguided. Oh God, I hate using that line, but in this case, I think it might be right. You know, they were kind of.
I mean, they had King Doc for a leader, and he obviously was bloodthirsty, but I don't think that extended to the entire race. And of course, King Doc was being led by the Lord of the Locusts. I don't think they were evil through and through at all. I think, if anything, they were what a lot of people called them, stupid.
Stupid rat creatures.
Stupid rat creatures. And I agree with what Jingus is saying about the fear of dragons. I think that's a genetic thing. I think that's branded into them. They probably come out of the womb smelling dragons and being afraid.
Considering what the dragons do when they're angry, I'd be kind of afraid of them too.
Yeah, solid point.
I mean, it's not a irrational fear. Not at all. In fact, it's a healthy one. The dragons, for the most part, seem more like a force of nature than anything else, except for one, the big red dragon. I mean, am I the only person who heard Ron Perlman's voice in my head whenever I saw him?
That would be a good voice for the red dragon.
I don't know about that. I'll tell you that I always thought Danny DeVito should be phony.
Oh, that'd be gold.
Any other people you would match up to a voice?
Let's see here.
Let me think.
The only one I can think of is Betty White to be Rose, because I think she could pull it off.
I don't even think she should be the voice. I think she should be Rose.
That's true, especially with her most recent commercial.
Yeah, you're playing like Betty White out there.
Man, if B. Arthur were still alive, I'd say her. You know, but God rest her. She's passed, and I think Betty White would probably be a good Rose in her place.
Yeah.
Of course, you'd have to get. But who would be a Thorn? I'm almost betting you'd have to be one of the Fannings. You know, probably Dakota. She's probably the right. I don't know. But I should for a voice.
I really don't know about Thorn.
That's a tough one.
Yeah, I can't think.
I do like the idea in the chat, Patton Oswalt as Phone Bone. That's a great idea. I had not thought of that.
I can see that.
Yeah, I can see that too. But who would... Oh my God, Smiley. Who would be Smiley? I don't think Jim Carrey's the right kind of voice but no.
For Smiley, I almost think you should get like a voice actor and have him invent something new. You know, I mean, why get all these movie stars when we could have like professional voice actors? Like maybe we should get like, oh, what's his name? The guy who does so many on Futurama. Bill Farmer, is that his name?
Shoot.
Bob Odenkirk would be an interesting one. I like the Odenkirk suggestion, because he could easily pull it off.
I'm trying to think about the guy's name who you're thinking about on Futurama.
Yeah,
Crap. I'm totally blanking. I mean, because he does like a good chunk of the voices on Futurama. He has.
Yeah, he does like 5 or more.
No, he does more like 10. he has like
Well, I know he's Fry and Zap and Zoidberg.
Billy West.
Billy West, thank you.
Billy West. Yes.
Jeez.
Oh, I feel stupid.
Right? Well, I want to see how many characters he played now.
Oh,
He was Fry and the Professor and Zoidberg and Zap and like random cast-off voices.
I mean, they showed like at the end of one of the Futurama movies, they showed a picture of every character he played in that movie, and it was like half the screen.
I'm sure.
But yeah, I keep hearing about the Bone movie being in development somewhere, but it's.
Well, I think they're moving forward with it now, and I think they said it's going to be CGI still, but at least Nickelodeon doesn't have the option anymore.
Yeah,
But-
Nickelodeon wouldn't know what to do with a good.
But do we want a Bone movie?
You know, I don't know.
I'm not sure either.
I'm not one of those people who really enjoyed the Harry Potter movies because I have my own vision of Hogwarts, you know?
Well, it's not just the vision, it's just the thing of the scope of the book. You obviously have the escape, then you go to the cow race, then you go through the journey.
You'd have to split it up the way they did in the collection. You know, each movie be 3 volumes. That's still a lot of information to go. That's still a lot to go through, but it's a bit more doable.
But
It
you
would be
know
like
they're
the Lord
not.
of the Rings movies.
Yeah,
you know, there's no way they could keep everything, but maybe if they're really lucky, they could do a good enough job to please the majority.
Yeah, because I have a feeling that if it does actually go into a movie, the interpretation of it's going to cut out a lot of vital information that. I just have this feeling you're going to go, start, run into the valley. Oh, here's a map I found in my pocket, let's go. It's going to cut out a lot of that beginning portion that you really do need to set yourself up to what's really going on.
Or if they don't cut out vital information, which would probably still happen, they'll cut out a lot of the gags or the funny bits that people really love to save time.
Mm.
That might very well happen. It's I don't know.
Oh, I'll be right
They
back.
could do it, they could do it like a mini-series or like a series instead of just a movie, like a TV series.
Oh dear God, I don't want to see sci-fi touch it. I really don't.
Sci-fi's been kind of hit or miss lately.
Mainly miss.
Mainly miss, yeah. I kind of stopped watching Caprica. I don't know why. I just. But that's getting a little off subject, so.
It's alright. It's alright.
But yeah.
Now, is there any particular character that you think, personified the conflict the best in this story?
Well, you have conflict all over the place. It's not just the good evil bit. Mm-hmm. It's conflict like Phony versus Lucius. Actually, that was my favorite conflict. How those two would butt heads over matters large and small.
Mm.
Yeah. Well, Lucius was kind of the honorable warrior type, while Phony was the scheming trickster.
The ass with a heart.
Yeah. So, there was pretty much no way those two could have gotten along without button heads.
Mm. Jenkins brings up a good point. Can you name of a good character through and through that isn't Phone Bone?
Ted the Bug?
Ted would be a decent one. I like Ted.
Yeah, Ted was.
And his brother was really cool, too.
In the book, you never see exactly what Ted looks like. and I forget what book it's in or where. Jeff Smith did one illustration of Ted real close up. He's got like this goatee, cigar, gold chains. You know, he just looks like a Cuban businessman, basically.
I have to see. I have to pump that up. It looks hilarious. That sounds like it looks hilarious.
Is there any particular comedy gag that you guys thought really got you?
Oh, it has to be the big spoiler moment. Just once again, I have a extremely soft spot for brick jokes, and when they're done right, they're just hilarious.
The one that always makes me laugh. I'm laughing now. Is in the winter when Phone Bone is by himself and running from the two rat creatures. Yeah, Genghis Khan on the chat.
And they're on the branch.
Yeah, he jumps into a tiny branch, like over a waterfall or something, and he says to himself, the two rat creatures would have to be pretty stupid to follow me onto this tiny, tiny branch. Next panel, they're hanging on the branch, and it's like, stupid rat creatures!
And thus begins the running gag.
That was just golden.
Yes. Oh, yes.
I think the quiche joke would be the one that I would pick.
You know, did anyone else notice that the bones were kind of differently illustrated than pretty much everything else in the book? Or is it just...
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Well, they kind of were, because by the scope of the map that they give you, that they were in a far-off land, that they're trekking miles after being run out of their own town through the catastrophe of the statue. And it's literally, for them, a foreign land. So to have them such as a different model didn't really bother me that much.
And you notice that from what they talk about Boneville, it's like a modern society. It's like a modern society, like a modern capitalist society. You know?
Yeah. I'm not sure. They talk about, like, technology, right? I mean, I think at some point they mentioned that Boneville has cars and stuff.
Mm. Yeah, that is true.
So, were they strangers in a strange land, or was it some bizarre time travel thing that Jeff Smith's not filling us in on?
Oh, Jeff Smith has said multiple times he's never going to illustrate Boneville. He's going to leave that up to the imagination of the reader.
Good.
That's probably best, though. Definitely.
Yum, Montgomery Burns. Excellent.
Release the hoons. And worst Burns impression ever.
I have a question for you guys, though.
Go for it.
What was the point in the book, or the series, the book, when you were like, okay, this is going to be awesome?
Right at the beginning, when he's sitting under the tree, and then suddenly this giant pile of snow is right falling on top of him. I was like,
okay,
yeah, I'm really gonna love this.
I'm gonna say, you know what? I actually got introduced to Bone probably in an interesting way that probably a lot of people did. You know, way, way, way back in the day. Does anybody else remember Disney Adventures?
Oh,
yes.
Yeah, that's how I got introduced to it, dude.
Dude, Disney, oh my god, back when it started, Disney Adventures was one of the most awesome magazines ever.
I agree.
And then about the turn of then about in 99, 2000, it started to suck.
It started becoming the Disney Channel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
but until then, it was amazing.
I mean, they had like, oh my god, like so many good comics. Not even Disney comics, like they reprinted like parts of indie comics, you know. So it was like someone actually cared about what was in the content, you know. If someone gave a crap,
And you know, I think they even, I mean, they ran Bone for a while, and I think they had a couple Bone stories that that were not in the book.
oh, and they were in color as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which actually Scholastic actually is putting out per volume a color version of each of the book, each of the volumes.
Do you think color's necessary? Because I think black and white actually suits it very well.
Yeah, I mean, but I've seen it in color and in black and white, and I can see it working either way, you know?
You know, I still have like box fulls of Disney Adventure magazines.
Oh God, I lost mine years ago, and it saddens me, because those things are collector's items now.
I think I have one or two back home.
Because, I mean, some of those issues have things in them that are nothing else. Like some of the comics are, that's it. That's the only place you can find them.
Mm-hmm.
And,
Ow!
you okay, man?
Yeah, you alright?
Right?
Nah, just bang my body, that's all.
Yeah, this was I've been wanting to read this for years, and I'm kind of glad that I ended up doing it this way, because, you know.
Alright. Okay. Well, any final thoughts, gentlemen, about the book in itself, or does anyone have any other point that they want to bring up?
If anyone doesn't think independent comics are worth a crap, I would point them out to Bone, because this is one of the cornerstones of independent comics, you know? That's just my opinion.
Yeah, and I would just say, you know what? This is the perfect book for people who don't like to read, because it's a comic book, it's got action, it's got humor, it's extremely well done, it's very cinematic in its execution, and if you haven't read it, you should go to the bookstore first thing tomorrow.
Or go to your local library, since it is, as Coldguy pointed out earlier, was it some kind of library week, was it?
It is National Library Week.
So, go to your library. Say hi and thank you to your local librarians. Sad thing is, my librarians actually know my entire family by name. We go there so often.
Yeah, mine was in the children's section too, Genius.
Dude, I used to go to the library every Saturday for magic shows.
Nice.
But, and, you know, we're going to talk about this on the next Spinebreakers, so be sure to listen to that. But I was telling Coldguy and Giwario how libraries started my love of reading, because it was at the library that I discovered the joy of choose-your-own-adventure books.
I remember some of those are good.
And it was also that way that I learned the joy of backtracking. Because many times I would fall in a ditch or something in a book and just go back, okay, next page. Crap, that ending sucks too, next page.
Backtracking. Even Choose Your Own Adventure books have backtracking. But that's neither here nor there.
Alright, so, all in all, excellent book. Everyone should read. So,
Oh
yes.
It's if you have a chance to read Bone, do it. You can pick it up for like $30 on Amazon, or you can go to a local library, and if they even have a halfway decent selection, they'll probably have at least one volume,
or the whole collection.
And not my library. And that's actually going to be the tie-in to the May Spectacular, is what I'm calling it right now.
It's a good title.
Yes, it's a tie-in. I try to go and tie things together, because that's how you do a podcast on themes.
Yeah, I know. Tell me about it.
So now comes the moment of truth, where I'm going to relinquish my bookshelf to have someone else go ahead and recommend a book for the next installment of the Spinebreakers Book Club.
Any suggestions?
Yeah, what are we going to read, folks, for the next book club?
Okay, how about this? For the people in the chat room, what genre would you like to read?
Okay, we've got educational, we've got Terry Pratchett.
Any others?
Something short. Fun.
Fun.
How about this leaflet on Jewish sports legends?
Anybody have any objections to anything by Piers Anthony?
I'm not familiar with that author.
Yeah.
Oh my! Oh yes, then we're gonna have to. Oh, I'm gonna have to suggest that at least we read the first book in what has become a rather epically long series of epically short books. Well, medium length. But, of course, I'm talking about the Zant series, which has been going on for about 30 plus books now.
Wow.
Do we have... Can you get me an Amazon link?
Oh, let me find one real quick.
Oh,
the first book in the series is Spell for Chameleon. Let me see if I can pull up an Amazon. I should have prepped for this, but
It's okay. It's okay.
Just wing it. That's what we do, and people love us.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no
that's why
planning whatsoever.
Dude, I wing my podcast all the time. So, which, you'll give me a second. I will. Oh wait, that's the Kindle version. That doesn't help me any. Anyone in here actually have a Kindle? So.
Nope.
Oh, well, here is the paperback version, which is we can get for $5.
No.
So if you,
So, could you give us a little description of what the book's about?
Okay, it takes place in a fantasy version of Florida. No joke. And everyone has a magical talent. Whether it be, for example, controlling the weather or, making a spot on the wall.
Oh, I want that power.
There's the Amazon link.
All right.
Yeah, it's a 30-book series, and an interesting little fact about Piers Anthony, he's actually published a book for every single letter of the alphabet.
Wow, kind of like that murder mystery author.
Except he wasn't going for it. He's like one of the most prolific authors out there.
Okay, I've got to ask you guys, if you're looking at the cover, if you're looking at the Amazon link, everybody take a look.
Yep.
The creature on that book, doesn't he kind of remind you of King Moonraker from Rudolph? Just with a scorpion tail?
Oh, you had to go first.
Maybe
Yeah.
it's just me.
No, I don't think it is. Oh, yeah. I did not. I've had that. I actually have that exact book, and I've never noticed that before.
I don't know. Maybe I, watch too many stop motion movies, but
Yeah. Think about
another thing you should know about the Xanth novels, and it doesn't actually come up until later in the series, is it's a bit pun-heavy. In fact, it's now primarily known for being one of the most punny books ever. Mainly because at about halfway through the series, readers started submitting puns, and he started putting them in, and, well, they've kind of overtaken the books just a bit. But they're still enjoyable reads. But I'm going to say the quality has declined just a tad over the years. But considering he's been doing this for over, I'm going to say 40 years now, that, that's kind of to be expected.
And trying to maintain the same quality over 30 books would be a Herculean feat. So we'll give the benefit of the doubt, but we're going to read the first one, right?
Oh yes, the first one's good, and it's a short book. If you want, if you think it's too short a book, I can also suggest the second book, which is actually I almost suggest reading the first 3 books together. But
what's the page count on this?
Let's see here, page count.
I feel like we should have at least 100 or so.
I'm trying to find the page count, but I can't. I have the book around here in the house, but trying to find it would be like, I don't think we have enough time in the day.
Fair enough.
So I'm trying to. Do they list the page count on?
No, they list like the weight and the length of the book and stuff.
Well, here's the table of contents.
Yeah.
So. Everyone's crapping out on me, so. Okay.
Let's see what we got here. Okay, I got mine loaded up here. Okay, this is looking like an over 300 page or so. I think the first book will be fine because we apparently have a lot of slow readers.
Alright, that's then.
So,
there we go.
The first book?
Yeah, just the first book. So, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to be the book of next month, or next 2 weeks, I should say, actually. Which would put us on the 27th. Of course, that's the day before the Spinebreakers is supposed to hit the website. Great! I mistimed it again.
Huzzah!
Huzzah indeed.
Slow clap.
I'll give it a golf clap.
Oh, jeez. So, yep.
You guys weren't doing the sarcastic clap. You were being genuine.
Okay, so the title of the book will be A Spell for Chameleon by Piers Anthony.
I do so love recommending Piers Anthony to people.
Okay. Now, are you going to be with us in 2 weeks, Dustin?
Oh, absolute. If I can be here, I will.
Well, since you did suggest the book, you kind of are obligated to show up and talk about it.
And can I take this time to plug the podcast that I'm in?
Oh, go ahead.
I'm actually in a podcast with a friend of mine. You may or may not have heard of him. Joseph, Legendary Frog Blanchett, does a couple of Flash animations, maybe.
Okay.
He's actually we actually do something called the Legendary Broadcast. I mean, it's pretty much, we update it whenever with whatever we want to talk about. So sometimes I'm there, sometimes he's there, sometimes it's literally just whenever we do it, you know.
Okay.
And on whatever topics. I mean, it's yeah. We're really organized. I'm gonna give the iTunes link since that seems to be the best. Let's see if it should do it.
Organization is overrated.
So we do that. We do that every once in a while. I think the last episode done was, I think he was talking about World of Warcraft, the Cataclysm. Yep, that was alright. He was talking about Cataclysm.
Okay.
I wasn't in that episode because I haven't played WoW since Burning Crusade first came out. That was a long, long time ago.
All right. So, ladies and gents, we got our book. It's going to be 2 weeks from now. So buy your books now so you don't have Amazon fails or library fails. Or check your local places and try to scour the book.
I mean, you could, if you look around, it's not that hard of a book to find. I mean, it's a fairly popular book in certain circles. And Piers Anthony he's a good author. He has a bit of a reputation of being something of a dirty old man by his own admission. If you go on to read other of Piers Anthony's books, I'll keep that in mind. He's something of a pervert, but he's an open, honest one.
You gave it just enough. We're gonna save it for the next 2 weeks.
Okay, I'm talking. I have a lot to say about Piers Anthony, so I'll save it for
save it for the 2 weeks. So, ladies and gents, I'm going to go ahead and call it a do. Thank you for showing up to the Spinebreakers live book club.
And a big thank you to Dustin and Mikey for joining us.
Yes, indeed.
Hey, no problem. I want to thank y'all for suggesting this book.
Not a problem. Also, if you don't know, we have a Twitter account of twitter.com/spine_breakers. You can follow me on my Twitter of The Real Coldguy. I know Rabbi has a Twitter.
Yep, it's Twitter/Scrambled Signal.
Yes. And I also keep track of the Facebook, keep track of the forum. I try to go ahead and update them as much as I can. Lately, not much, but I try to do it as much as I can. So you can get the latest news. Also, stay tuned. I might be actually doing something else with this little channel besides the live book club. I wonder what it could be.
Oh, I put it too if anyone's curious. But it's twitter.com/Dustin Watts, DUSWATTS.
Alright.
Original.
Okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, have a good night. I need to go to sleep now because of the medication.
Yeah, feel better, Coldguy.
Feel better, Coldguy.
Thank you very much.
Seriously, get better, man.